No mole se te ali mala que se ni ma kialunde avashama. A shamana ni ala kataveana sibilundo. Kivasho no pia umporo shodo kudia nana sete. Simile anima kilosu pia mama. Ina ita ima lea tovakasha no sete. Sinumala kilindo. Koru usheke haliana. Good evening. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever and whenever you are. Thank you for joining me. The sun is setting here in Alabama today, and so I wanted to take just a brief moment here to share with you what I was doing today or a little while ago. So I wanted to catch the sunset really quick with you guys. Just doing a little early gardening, winter gardening here in the United States. It's still winter here, but here in Alabama it's pretty mild. It's about 50 today, so I just wanted to share a moment with you at Dave's encouragement. I have been filling vessels today with water, with rainwater. So if anybody has watched some of my videos, you may be familiar with that. I do like to harvest rainwater whenever I can. And so one of the things that that I do here at the house is we've got a downspout over here, which I'm attempting to show you. So we've got a downspout down here that the rain comes from, and so I've just got a couple of barrels here. That one's covered up with some mesh to keep things out and protect the wildlife from falling into. And so what I do is, weather permitting, of course, so I've been able to actually collect it pretty frequently since it hasn't really frozen solid here. It gets a little ice on top, but the point is that I wanted to show you guys as I was doing a little preliminary gardening today. I'm going to show you where I'm at here. I'm sitting kind of on my porch here. So I wanted to show you some of the vessels that I use for my plants. And so I was getting ready to cut down my little mum here. It got cold, and so it kind of got a little wilted and dried up, and then I saw some beautiful new signs of life here. So I'm going to be cutting that down, and we'll see how well it pops up here in the sunroom. So what I do is I fill all my little vessels with rainwater and all my little watering cans, and I bring the rainwater in the house. So I just wanted to share just a few of them. What I like to do too is use different things, especially natural. I really tend to like to stick to natural vessels, if you will, made of elements and glass. And so this one just happens to be a wine bottle that we thought was pretty cool because it has a purple dragon in it. So we thought that was pretty cool. And so I saved different kinds of vessels, and actually jars, let's just call it bottles. And among them, I've shared with you guys before in some of my other videos, the colored bottles that I like to use. It really, it changes the vibration, of the water. And when we say loving things to it and speak kindly to the water and give our blessings and our energy and literally our DNA to the plants, it's a whole different kind of communion. And the water that I like to store in here from the rainwater sits in the sunshine. So my solar water, I like to call it. And so feed your plants with a little solar water if the weather permits. I know in a lot of the areas in the United States, it's way too cold for that right now. But as the weather draws near, if you can find exciting ways to collect just a little bit of rainwater here and there for your plants, no matter where you live. And so I was going to finish up cutting, trimming down my mum here, and filling the rest of my water containers. I've got a big gallon water jar down there too, waiting to come up. And So I'm going to continue to refill my vessels. I've already done it a couple times today, so I've been up and down these stairs quite a few times today. So I've been refilling them, and it's great exercise and communing with nature and getting excited about spring because it's still relatively cold here. And so, but I wanted to just share how I bring in the water and let it sit in the house, and then water the plants, of course, as need be, you know, as they need it. And I also wanted to show you guys too, I've been started this little basil plant. I've got a couple more started in the house and some other cuttings from some other plants. And so I just, this used to be like an oil jar that, you know, for olive oil or something that just doesn't, it just doesn't really work anymore. It doesn't seal. So what I just start some plants in here. And so I was getting ready to repot this little cutting. I took this cutting off of another plant. And so I'm getting ready to just pot that little guy up. So I think also what I've been guided to do over the last couple of years, really, but one of the things I've been excited to explore is light language symbols on flower pots and even on these bottles, and to really amplify my love and my energy, and to share all of those exciting things with you guys too as I create these things. Anything that we're excited to do has value in sharing. And so I have to thank Dave for that, for this video today, because I'm like, well, I've already talked about this before, but everything's new. And if you're new to my channel, thank you. And thank you for joining me. And everything in creation speaks the language of light. Everything speaks the languages of lights, of all the lights, of all that is. And so this is my way of also sharing with you the language of the light, of all that is, and how I express it in my own little environment, and how much I love and enjoy sharing these little tidbits with you guys. And oh, and I forgot to tell you too, I put in my little fairy portal over here, I was guided to put my little pinwheel out there, if you guys can see it. And it shimmers and shines when it spins. And so I'm reminded too, to remind all of you guys to share things with your fairy friends, to be spontaneous and creative and fun. And you know, I got that at the dollar store and it represents movement and light, and even the idea of parallel realities and universes. And yet, and also, I just really felt guided by the fairies themselves. I'm not really sure how to explain it, but that they find it fun, and I felt giddy all of a sudden. And so I just wanted to share that with you guys also. And I don't know if you guys can see. Let's see it's hard to tell from this distance, but the little jonquils, there they are. The little jonquils are coming up over there too. So those should be probably popping open here in just a couple of days. So wherever you are in the world, share the love of where you are and the wonder of where you are. And I realize that when it's really, really cold or snowy or icy and it's not really permissible to get out there, but when you can, get out there. And I know that here it's winter time and approaching spring, and in the southern hemisphere, it's excuse me, sorry. Approaching autumn, and so no matter where you are, there's magic, and we often take for granted where we are and what we're looking at, and yet it was the beauty of the forest and my guides that drew me, and my dog, taking my dog for walks in the forest, that got me outside in January in the cold. And so there's splendor in all of those things. And so I was just reminded to share these things with you, and even when I don't find the information valuable, thank you for Dave encouraging me to share these things with you right in the moment and being spontaneous. And even though I have no idea what I'm going to say sometimes, I just want to be as I guess in the moment as possible. And I can hear the frogs, and I'm so excited because every time I hear frogs, for me it symbolizes spring, regeneration, the tadpole to the frog, a complete transformation, a balance of ecosystem. I just found I unpacked my little green stone frog yesterday, so that was really exciting. And I had just been talking to Dave about frogs, and so maybe. And I don't have my cards with me right now to pull like the frog card, so perhaps some of you, if you're so inclined and interested and intrigued, perhaps you might want to look up the frog spirit animal, spirit totem. Maybe there's a symbol for you, a sign for you, a message for you about the frog totem. So actually, you know what, hang on, maybe I can open the door and show you. Hang on just a second. There he is. So there's my, I'm in a really weird, awkward position, but there's my cool green stone frog. So another inspiration for you guys. I know that's a really bad angle because I'm like really in a strange position here. So I think without further ado, I'm going to finish up what I'm doing before I have no more daylight to do it. So thanks once again, Dave, for the inspiration, and thanks to all of you for inspiring me to be more and more of myself, so that all of you give yourselves permission to be more and more of all that you are in every single way, and never feel like what you have to share is not valuable to someone else. My deepest love, gratitude, and appreciation to all of you for being a part of my now. Nyabalayanto vishan seta niana la gondaveshanoso pi alanima taliso. Kandia shonomba li savasonona kelantusha na sete kivasono paliendo kamiano. Mishinone tiavaso tavakana pliansho toko mimaya ni taliana. Makorianvo semisha sambontare piala shaso pianta kianome shato kiafshashana. And so we'll share with you the growth of all the new plants and my little basil, and I love to actually have fresh basil in the house to pinch to add to my dinner. So I'm excited about the my little guys growing, my little sprouts growing here, and I've got a little tiny one in the house here that's been going. So with that, I think I'll add a little bit of that to my dinner tonight. And thanks again, all of you. Mialokuya shanase te nomora koshe ianala kate amiana.